As the most iconic billionaires of our time prove, the road to success can take on many forms. Some success stories are heartbreaking, some are hopeful, and the odd few are downright hilarious. With that said, let's take a look into the lives of the world's most iconic billionaires before they had a 10-digit bank account balance. J.K. Rowling. In 2004, J.K. Rowling became the first author ever to make $1 billion. Her creation, Harry Potter, is the best-selling book series of all time. Having her books adapted into a series of mega-hit movie franchises didn't hurt Rowling's net worth either, but an incredibly rocky path came before Rowling's eventual success. She knew she wanted to be a writer from a young age, but never expected her life to inspire her work so deeply. When Rowling was in the early stages of writing the first Harry Potter book, her mother died. For Rowling, Harry's parents' deaths and the books became an outlet to explore this agonizing loss of such an important figure in her life. 3 years later, Rowling underwent a difficult divorce and was left to raise her infant daughter by herself. She filed a restraining order against her ex-husband, which has led to speculation that she was also abused during their relationship. In the aftermath of those hardships, she became clinically depressed and suicidal, which reportedly fed into the creation of the soul-sucking Dementors in her books. At this point, Rowling was extremely poor, even with the help of welfare, living in a tiny flat. But change began to arrive when she completed her first book. It was written by hand, typed up on an old manual typewriter, and rejected by 12 publishers before someone picked it up a year later. After that, her well-earned enormous fortune began to form, just like magic. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is currently worth $20 billion. He uses that wealth to make very quiet cars, spaceships, and outrageous statements. Despite his apparent confidence and success now, Elon was continuously, brutally bullied at school until he was 15. As the youngest and smallest student in all his classes, he was the natural target. But it went beyond swirlies and stolen lunch money at his school in South Africa. On one occasion, he was hospitalized after bullies threw him down a flight of stairs and left him there unconscious. He badly broke his nose, and to repair the damage, Elon needed cosmetic surgery. Things began to look up after that though, and Musk's tough early years fueled his motivation and aptitude on the path to success. Elon worked some far less glamorous and much lower paying jobs on his path to wealth. He shoveled grain, cut wood, and cleaned the boiler room at a lumber mill as a teenager in Canada. In college, he and his roommate converted their house into a basic nightclub to make extra cash. The first of his oddball, genius ventures. Elon's career really got started with his ventures into software, particularly with PayPal. But the Elon in images from this time seems a little different. Notice anything? There's speculation that he's had a hair transplant, but I disagree. The truth is obviously that being a billionaire not only makes you happier, it also grows your hair back. But if he continues behaving like a Tony Stark with a mild social disorder, he may not be a billionaire forever. And then it's hair today, gone tomorrow. Richard Branson. Richard Branson, the famed businessman, investor, author, and philanthropist, founded the Virgin Group in 1970. The conglomerate owns 400 companies today. Among Branson's greatest achievements are appearances on both Friends.
So, what do you find gentlemen in the market for? We got scarves, souvenir postcards.
And Baywatch.
To me, but believe me, Mitch, if we weren't absolutely certain we could pull this off, we wouldn't be here. Terrific.
His wild hobbies involve circumnavigating the globe in a balloon and other kooky ventures. Not the sort of activities you get into without having a lot of cash on hand. But while he's always been a wild card, had you known Branson as a kid, you may not have picked him out for a huge future success. He had terrible grades in school, thanks to a combination of dyslexia and a rebellious nature. He was not at all the suave child he's portrayed as in this Virgin Mobile ad. His headmaster told him that he would either end up in jail or become a millionaire, and Branson ran with the latter option. In the late 60s, Branson lived as a squatter in a London basement for a year, where he began devising business plans. While his living situation was unusual, it was his own choice, and besides, who needs their own place when they look like a handsome Austin Powers?
Yeah, baby!
His first two businesses failed, selling Christmas trees and later selling parakeets. But the third time proved the charm, and his magazine Student ended up launching his career. It evolved into Virgin Records, and the rest is history. Jay-Z. Sean Corey Carter, better known as Jay-Z, once identified himself as a businessman, not a businessman. He was right. Carter became the first billionaire rapper in 2019 thanks to his incredibly successful music career alongside his own clothing retailer and his own luxury sports bar chain. He also owns Tidal, which is somehow the third largest music streaming site, despite the fact that nobody actually knows anyone who uses it. But the young Sean Carter had it rough to say the least. Before he was even a teenager, his father abandoned his family, leaving him and his 3 siblings to be raised by their mom. At the age of 12, Jay-Z shot his drug-addicted older brother in the shoulder for stealing his jewelry. He attended George Westinghouse Career and Technical Education High School in Brooklyn at the same time as other future rappers Biggie Smalls and Busta Rhymes, but never graduated. Unsurprising, when you consider his life at the time consisted largely of selling crack and getting shot at by rival gang members. But under a tough exterior, he had an artistic side. Sean was known to write lyrics, freestyle rap, and even craft drum beats on the kitchen table. His childhood nickname was Jazzy, which later combined with his rap mentor's name Jaz-O to form Jay-Z. His sense of style at this age is probably the biggest difference from his billionaire self. Judging from his early musical endeavors in the 90s, he seemed to be into striped shirts and goofy dancing. But he grew out of this phase, married Beyonce, and became a billionaire. His striped t-shirts have evolved too. Jack Ma. Chinese businessman Jack Ma is best known as the co-founder of Alibaba. Named one of the world's greatest leaders by Fortune, Jack's real name is in fact Ma Yun. Jack was a nickname given to him by an English-speaking pen pal when he was a kid. Indeed, his hard work began in childhood, when he would regularly ride 70 miles on his bicycle to practice his English on tourists in Hangzhou. Hard work took a long time to pay off for Jack, though. It took him 4 years to pass his college entrance exams, and after finally passing and studying at a Chinese university, he applied to Harvard. He was rejected 10 times. After that, he set his sights a little lower. He tried to become a police officer, but he didn't make the cut. He applied to work at KFC, but couldn't get hired there either. All hope seemed lost, but in 1994, Jack found out about the internet and started his first company, Hangzhou Haibo Translation Agency. It was a success despite the haircut he was sporting at the time. After a few technology ventures, Ma formed the business-to-business online marketplace Alibaba. Following this momentous meeting with the 18 friends he decided to involve, extreme wealth began to pile up. What began right there as a business run from Ma's apartment became the 7th most valuable company on earth. Mark Zuckerberg. If you've ever been on the internet, which for some reason I'm pretty confident you have, you're probably aware of Mark Zuckerberg. Founder of Facebook and 8th richest person on the planet, Zuckerberg has become widely criticized for selling Facebook users' personal information to companies. He also reminds some people of an alien trying to impersonate a human. Maybe that's because he had a Star Wars themed bar mitzvah when he turned 13. Yeah, he was always a bit of a socially awkward geek, but a genius geek nonetheless. With exceptional grades across the board, he decided to specialize in his greatest talent of all, programming. As a teenager, he'd get his friends to make drawings, which he'd then adapt into video games. He even developed and sold media software that used machine learning to tailor songs to users' listening habits. This was all before he even went to college. His first dive into stealing personal data came in the form of FaceMash, a simple website he devised for his fellow Harvard students. The site was based around rating people's attractiveness, but was shut down because Mark had neglected to ask anyone's permission before using their photos. Sound familiar? Despite this, its popularity overloaded Harvard's network before it was shut down. Inspired by his success, he constructed the Facebook, later shortening the name, which got him international attention.
And now we're at 100,000 people, so who knows where we're going next. We're going to launch a bunch of side applications which should keep people coming back to the site and maybe could make something cool.
Though Mark's optimistic here in 2004, he couldn't possibly have known just how unbelievably huge and influential Facebook would become. Bill Gates. Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft with a net worth of $105 billion, has developed a reputation as being the good kind of billionaire. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is the largest private charity in the world, and Bill and his wife have donated more than $28 billion. If only all billionaires were like this. But Bill's record isn't as squeaky clean as it seems, and there were some hilarious hiccups in his past. While in high school, Bill used his computer skills to try and improve his chances with the ladies. With the help of later Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen, he hacked into the school's computers and put himself into classes where he would be the only boy. Bill later commented that it wasn't that I could talk to them or anything, but they were there. Baby steps, young Bill. You'll be a billionaire one day. but not before a long career of crime. This mugshot of a young Bill Gates was taken in 1977 when he was arrested in New Mexico for a traffic violation. The exact offense remains unknown, but his sordid past is riddled with clues. Bill had also been arrested 2 years prior for speeding and driving with an expired license. So perhaps the hot rod lifestyle took him a while to shake, but he did, and I'd say he more than atoned for his terrible crimes. Jeff Bezos. In 2018, Jeff Bezos surpassed Bill Gates to become the richest man in the world. Bezos' pet colossus, Amazon, is currently the most valuable company in the world. It's not only the largest online retailer, it's also the largest provider of artificially intelligent assistants and cloud infrastructure services. That's a long way to come, considering he used to flip burgers at McDonald's as a high school student. But in fairness, Bezos' rise to extreme wealth was built on sturdy foundations. He was a gifted engineer from a young age, winning countless academic awards throughout school and college. After various successful jobs in technology and banking, Bezos founded Amazon in 1994, starting the company in his garage. It's difficult to believe that this setup would become the most valuable company in the world. The homemade Amazon sign certainly has personality. And his first desk, which he reportedly still uses today, was crafted out of a wooden door and 4x4s. Bezos himself was far from sure that Amazon would become the giant that it is today. In an interview in 1999, Bezos was very open about the possibility that Amazon might fail like so many other web businesses did.
There's no guarantee that Amazon.com can be a successful company.
But his investors kept faith, including Bezos' parents, whose life savings helped keep the company afloat in the early years. And as we all know, their faith paid off enormously. But anyway, how could you not have faith in this guy? Today, Amazon is still a slightly unstable entity, but if all goes wrong, there's always a spatula waiting for Jeff at McDonald's. So, if your goal in life is to make a massive amount of money, don't forget that you'll have to fail a bunch of times in order to get there. Who knows, you may still be in the early life section of your future Wikipedia page. Which billionaire backstory surprised you the most? And could you pull off Jay-Z's 90s dance moves? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.